Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Callista and I like to talk about spirituality, self-growth, just things that I think need to be talked about, and societal things. I really need a better intro. Today I wanted to talk about playing victim and letting your personal story dictate how you live your life today. Just a little bit about what I think about people suffering in today's age. I also just want to give a disclaimer that this is all from my point of view, from, where I live in this world, the internet, and just what I see on a day-to-day basis and what I see happening around me. And this is just my take on it. Hopefully you can take something from this video, take control of your life, and stop playing the victim. So to start, we all have a story. We have traumas, successes, failures, and experiences that have led us to believe certain things about ourselves. We all have ingrained patterns and habits. We also all have things that have either happened to us or things that we have experienced that have traumatized us and changed our way of thinking and viewing things based on that experience or based on what happened to us at that time. When you notice that you are getting into your story, which is basically getting into that past, take a step back and acknowledge that all we truly have is this present moment right now. Nothing more, nothing less. All we have is right now. The past is just a memory. The future is just basically our imagination and daydreaming. Ultimately, all we have is right now in this present moment. Is it really serving you for your best to continue following your story and your past that has brought you to where you are now? When we take a step back and we are truly aware of the present moment that we have the opportunity to be conscious of our patterns and our habits. Who would you be without your story and all that you think and feel around it? Stories can become habitual ways of thinking and feeling that repeat over and over again, which we all know what the definition of insanity is, which is doing the same thing or replaying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. When we observe our minds, we come to discover reoccurring patterns that come up and ultimately drive our decisions and our lives. When we become conscious of this, then we can begin to liberate ourselves from the hold of our limiting beliefs, or the hold that a past experience has had on you for however long. Something that we need to recognize is that that was in the past. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it changed you. Yes, it affected you, but it's not happening right here, right now, in this moment. If we keep using what has happened to us in our past as an excuse for how we live our lives today, here and now, then we're inevitably stuck in the past and we will keep on living our past. Our bodies, minds, and emotions will keep repeating what we have lived in the past. If you took your past away, who would you show up as? Would you be more confident, more loving? Would you believe in yourself more? Would you actually show up for yourself and others? If you chose to just drop your story and say that the past is all behind you and it doesn't define you and it doesn't dictate how you live your present life, what would you do? Of course, all of what you have been through has made you into the person that you are today, and there is a certain level of acknowledgement and respect that needs to go into that, but it can't be used as an excuse to how you do live your life presently. Of course, all that has happened to you has made you into the person that you are today, and hopefully for the better, but for a lot of people, it's for the worst. And instead of taking what happened to them and finding liberation, they take what happened to them and find a way to make themselves the victim or continue suffering because of it. And it's also necessary to give yourself grace for your past, but No matter what you've been through, there comes a time when you can't keep letting it define you and decide how you're going to live and how you guide yourself emotionally, because a lot of the times it causes more harm than good. I'm not only talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself here too. A lot of these videos I make, they're conversations I've had with myself as well. So how long are you going to say, this happened to me and therefore I'm a victim and this is why I act this way? Don't let it become you. If you need to sit and wallow in your feelings about the trauma you've experienced, then definitely do it. A lot of times when we haven't acknowledged our trauma enough or acknowledged what has happened to us, then it can build up inside of us, and that's why we act out in a negative way. Yes, I do let myself sit and think about the stupidest thing that did affect me in a negative way, and I let myself feel those feelings even if it doesn't seem like I should, and even if it's like the opposite and it's something that was very traumatic and something that literally scarred me. You have to let yourself feel those feelings, because if you don't, it bottles up in... Here's the thing. Emotions are just energy in motion, right? So energy comes, energy flows, energy goes. So whatever energy comes to you, you also need to be the one to let it flow through you and release. Energy needs a way to escape, or else it stays stuck in your body and it can express itself as a disease, sickness, mental illness, uncontrolled emotions, and depression, things like this. If you don't let yourself feel it, or at least choose a way to get this energy out, then that's when problems start coming up. And it's even worse when people know this and they still choose not to feel, they choose to not do anything about it, and instead they manipulate other people into feeling sorry for them, to make them it all about them, and like that selfishness, that egotism that just wants to be safe, be seen, be heard. Yeah, I think a big thing that I'm talking about when it comes to society and things that I see in the world and around me is people wanting to be a victim of something. People wanting to be in the minority of, in whatever the category is, whether that's something that happened to them physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I've said this before, that there is a need for people to be seen and heard, but you can be seen and heard in a more positive, loving way, and one that's beneficial for everyone. Because if it's not, then ultimately you're doing a disservice to yourself and for the people that you encounter and the people that you meet. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, people just want love and connection and community. They want to feel like they're a part of something. Being a victim is not, that's not a positive way to be a part of something, or to even like get the attention that you so desperately want. You are stronger than what happened to you. You are capable of more than what happened to you. And if you want more for yourself and you feel like it is your past that doesn't allow you to do so and be what you want to be and do what you want to do, then you are living in the past and not the present. The past is the past. The present is right now. Is what happened to you happening currently right now? For some people, yes. For a lot of people, no. If you're constantly bringing up your past to say, this is why I'm reacting this way, or you need to validate my feelings because of this thing that happened to me, then that can create habitual thought patterns and reactions to things happening now in the present, which will not create growth, but leave you stuck in the same place. You're also making yourself the victim in your own story. Your life is your story. And why would you want to be the victim in your story? Wouldn't you want to be the hero, or the one that does something great, or the one that chooses happiness and love and things like that? Why would you want to be the victim? You know what I mean? At least that's how I feel about it. Sometimes you are the victim of some sort of occurrence, but the fact that there's a part of you that wants that needs to be targeted and addressed. Why put yourself in that position? Another thing is The Body Keeps the Score, which, yes, that is a book. But if you keep telling the body and the mind that you're going through this trauma, then you're continually putting that stress on your mind and body, and that's going to cause problems with your mental, emotional, and physical health, because your brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. For example, to prove this, imagine that you put a very sour candy in your mouth right now. You kind of feel like the effect that it has on your taste buds. If you're visualizing something like very intense or anxiety inducing happening to you, then your body will react to it. Your heart will start racing, the anxiety will go up, maybe you get hot. That's because the brain can't tell the difference. And we can also do this test in a more positive way in meditation, and you imagine a certain type of energy flowing through you, like love, gratitude, how it would feel to have this dream come true, or how it would feel to own this thing or be this person. Your body can feel that, and your body doesn't know what the difference is. So that's why it's so important, if you're constantly bringing up your past and your trauma and letting it dictate your life and how you live it now, your body is constantly under that stress and constantly under that fight or flight, anxiety, depression. In reality, in the present moment, you're not actually going through any of those things, but you keep bringing it up and you keep focusing on it negatively, and therefore your body is going to react negatively. Our bodies are not made to continually go through the stress and traumas that all of us go through, and even just like a normal everyday Joe going to work from 9 to 5, if he's just constantly stressed about his work, even when he's not doing the work currently, well, then obviously that's going to show up and spill out into his personal life. That being said, this is all things that cause suffering. Another thing that I have noticed with people playing the victim role is they have this deep desire for validation from other people, and other people need to validate their feelings in order for them to feel good, in order for them to feel like I've been acknowledged, and all the pain and suffering that I have been through needs to be validated. And just that alone, that is going to cause you suffering. The only person that needs to validate your feelings and your past and trauma is you, no one else. What matters to other people is how you hold yourself in the world, how you show up in the world. Ultimately, you can't control how other people perceive you, but you can control how you perceive yourself and what is happening in your inner world. But I think this is more cultural and goes deeper into how single individuals choose to care for themselves. People think that the world needs to validate their feelings and choices on how they choose to present themselves in the world. I think it's the fact that you feel the need to be validated because you are unsure of yourself, and it is causing suffering to you because you care what other people think. It can cause suffering to everyone you come across that you accuse of not accepting you. Just be who you want to be. You don't need other people's approval for that. You don't need validation for that. You have the freedom to do what you want to do. You have the freedom to be who you want to be, say what you want to say. A lot of the suffering that I'm seeing is self-made suffering. And of course, there's a lot of suffering happening in the world, literal suffering. There's also just such minute things that people blow up. I feel like it's because they want to play into the victim role. When you love and accept yourself, you can love and accept others. If people could put their egos and pride aside and just choose love, then suffering would be minimized for themselves and everyone that they encounter. Your reality is just a reflection of yourself. So if you do feel attacked and unvalidated, then you should be asking yourself why you feel that way. Not why others feel that way about you, but why you feel that way about you. The answers are always within you as long as you are honest with yourself. Being on a spiritual journey, I have grown more and more to accept who I am, and anytime I am making judgments upon other people, or I feel like other people are judging me, it's because I have realized that I'm either envious, getting into other people's business that I don't need to, or I am being triggered by something inside of me that is being reflected by that person or situation, and this is just another thing within me that I need to work through. Another thing is, just because you believe in something doesn't mean you need to force other people to fully understand your point of view, validate your beliefs, and make people change their own beliefs. This again goes into the judgments coming out and the need to be heard and validated by others. I'm not saying don't share your opinions. I mean, look at me, right? But attacking people because you want them to believe what you believe so bad, this is just a clear indicator that you are not fully accepting of yourself and what you believe. Because if you were fully accepting and believe your own opinions, then you don't need other people's validation. You don't care what other people think because you are confident within yourself of what you believe. We can fix this by fully accepting who we are, just the way we are, and acknowledging that what we have been through has made us into the person we are today, but it doesn't define us as a person. There's so much more to you than that. Once you meet yourself where you are, then you can actually move forward with your life instead of backwards or staying stagnant in the same place. And when you realize that you're reacting instead of responding, acknowledge that and decide how you'll move forward in a more positive way. Break the cycle of being a victim by acknowledging that you are the one in control over yourself and your life, not others, and especially not your past. Not all of your thoughts are your own, and this is something that really, really needs to be recognized by the masses, because people believe in their thoughts because it came from them, so it must be them. It's a part of them, but it isn't them, like your soul, what is truly in your heart of hearts. Also, being unapologetic about who you are, because you don't need to explain yourself for approval. You're authentic in your own beautiful way. I can continue to show up how I want to show up, and that makes me feel liberated and give out what I want to receive. If you want love and acceptance, why are you giving out hate, judgment, and fear? Why are you depending on something outside of yourself to give you that love and acceptance? That's not good structure for yourself, not a good foundation. If you are wanting to get better, you need to start from the roots. Also, you should matter most to yourself. Once we realize this, then we can move forward with our lives, and society can be better, more loving and accepting, and suffering can also be limited because we realize that we have gratitude for what we do have and the power of right now to change the course of our lives at any moment if we choose. If you want to change right now, if you wanted to stop living in the past, stop living in your depression, your sickness, whatever negativity that you are living in that came from the past, you have the power of choice. We've always had the power of choice. No matter what is happening in your life, you can choose how you view it. And even if things aren't ideal, you can still be happy because it really is a choice. You can either think, one, my circumstances are all these negative things, so I'm going to be negative and complain, which I think we can all agree will only make things worse. Or you can say, my circumstances are all these unfavorable things, but I'm still going to choose happiness because I want to be happy. You don't need anything to be happy. It's an emotion that you can call upon at any moment. It's not always easy. Some moments I feel like shit. Some moments I just want to lay down and stare at the ceiling and cease to exist. I still have a choice to get up. I have a choice to do something about it. If you think that you should be unhappy due to all the external things being negative, then you're playing into the victim role. I'm no different than any other person, and I could sit here and tell you that I have all of these problems that I face in everyday life, but I still have the power of choice like everyone else. The choice to think happy thoughts, make healthy decisions for myself, and pursue more for myself. Oh, right. That is all that I have for this video. I hope that you can take something from this video. A lot of these videos that I make for myself and just thoughts that I have. Thank you for joining me today, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye!